afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Can you kindly take your seats? The Prime Minister, our chief guest, will be arriving in about 10 minutes' time. Thank you. I am among those who think that science has great beauty. Those were the words of the first woman Nobel laureate and renowned scientist Marie Curie. This quote reminds us that the beauty and wonder of science brings beauty to our lives and the significant contributions of women scientists in making the world a better place. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to the Women Scientists Forum 2025. We are delighted to have you all here today to celebrate the achievements and contributions of women in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I'm Inoka Sandanayaka, and I will be your host for this inspiring event. Today we gather not only to honor the incredible women in STEM, but also to commemorate the International Women's Day. This global observance, celebrated annually on the 8th of March, is a day to recognize the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. It also serves as a call to action for accelerating gender parity. As we celebrate International Women's Day, we are reminded of the importance of equity, diversity, and inclusion in all aspects of life, including the scientific community. To commence the event, ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem.
Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka,
Please, you may take your seats now. Today, this event is enriched by a diverse array of scientists, especially women scientists representing various organizations, such as the Ministry of Science and Technology, institutions coming under the Ministry of Science and Technology, scientific associations, other institutions and organizations such as the Center for Gender Equity and Equality, Officers of Gender Equity and Equality of State Universities, Center for Women's Research, Child Fund Sri Lanka, and several distinguished individuals such as former Vice Chancellors of Sri Lankan State Universities, past and current members of the NSF board members and NSF working committees. And now you may see the organizations being represented in this forum in this slide here. And now, to officially welcome you all, I would like to invite Dr. Sepalika Sudasinghe, Director General of the National Science Foundation, to deliver the welcome address.
So good afternoon, everybody. Honorable Prime Minister of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Secretary to the Ministry of Science and Technology, Chairperson, NSF, senior officials of the Ministry, General President / distinguished scientists, representing scientific organizations, institutes, special invitees, staff from National Science Foundation, and ladies and gentlemen. We are truly honored to have the Honorable Prime Minister today as the chief guest, and let me warmly welcome you, Madam, to the Women Scientists Forum 2025. It is a 2025 organized by the National Science Foundation in collaboration with SLAS in commemorating the International Women's Day. Honorable Minister, in the year 2024, NSF launched officially Women in Engineering, Science and Technology West program to facilitate in reducing gender disparities in those fields and to empower human resource enabling enhanced contribution to the science, technology and innovation ecosystem from women engineers and scientists. Throughout the year 2024, we successfully conducted knowledge sharing and capacity building programs enabling career advancement of scientists and researchers and appreciating their achievements, taking effective steps in avoiding gender biases through these programs. This year too, we'll be continuing the program and intend to organize several impactful initiatives throughout the year. This is the first program in the year 2025 with objectives to commemorate the International Women's Day, also to create awareness on the engagement and leadership of female scientists, expanding networking for synergy in the STEM fields, and enhance their contribution for the socio-economic development of the country. Distinguished invitees, we work together for a common goal, which is to transform Sri Lanka's economy into one that is innovation-driven, where science, technology, innovation play a pivotal role in fostering economic prosperity, social well-being, and environmental sustainability. We, the NSF, believe that we can only be successful in finding the answers to those challenges if we join our forces through dedicated work, constructive dialogue, and joint efforts, and that make us truly become the masters of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, let me also take a second to thank the NSF team for their tireless dedication in organizing this event. Your hard work is truly appreciated. Finally, I trust that today's forum will highlight new insights and strategies and policy initiatives to enhance the role of women scientists in shaping Sri Lanka's future. On that note, I once again welcome all of you to this Women Scientist Forum 2025. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. As we discuss the importance of women's voices in reshaping the global landscape of science, technology, and innovation, it is my privilege to honor a leader who has broken glass ceilings in both academia and national level leadership. Her story is a powerful testament to the possibilities that emerge when knowledge and dedication converge. Today, she stands at the pinnacle of national leadership as the 17th Prime Minister of the Democratic Socialist Republic of Sri Lanka, becoming a living symbol of how women from the world of academia can rise to the highest positions of decision-making. Her journey reminds us that women in academia are not just producers of knowledge, but drivers of transformative change. With that said, it is with immense honor that we welcome Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, Honorable Prime Minister of Sri Lanka, to address the gathering at this Women Scientists Forum organized by NSF and SLAS.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to this really lovely event. I see so many familiar faces that I feel I'm back with my own people for a little while at least. So thank you so much for including me in today's event. Honorable Minister, Secretary, colleagues, members of the National Science Foundation Sri Lanka, other science associations, invitees and friends. I want to start with a little story, a little experience I had just before I came here. I was in Parliament and I told my friend and colleague, Minister Bimal Ratnayaka, I have to leave for a little while. I have to go participate in this Women Scientists Forum. And he was very excited. I said, wow, I wish I also can come with you. I also want to be there. So, and then he asked me, he challenged me. He said, can you name 3 top female scientists in the world, but you cannot name Marie Curie, right? Apart from Marie Curie, they come up with 3 names. And I'm really ashamed to admit that I couldn't. Right? I mean, I had a brain freeze and I honestly couldn't. The only name that I could think of was Marie Curie. And I'm sitting here in this room thinking, what an idiot am I? Right? But I think his story, and then he showed me a post that he had written where he asks this question regularly from people to say, name top 3 scientists, female scientists, and almost inevitably they can only name Marie Curie. And what does this story tell us? I mean, clearly it's not because we don't have women scientists. It's about the way that women scientists' voices have been silenced, where their contributions have been erased or made invisible throughout history, and sometimes they've even been burnt as witches. This has also happened. Right? So this is the history from which we have emerged to a point here today where we can celebrate women scientists the way we are doing today, in a room full of amazing women who made incredible contributions to the world of science in various sectors. So I think it shows what a long way we have come, but I think we all acknowledge the fact that there is a long way for us to go as well. So that's the story I wanted to share with you, and what happens when you are in Parliament for a little too long in that freezing cold and your brain literally freezes. So International Women's Day is not merely a celebration. It is a powerful symbol of reflection, recognition, and action. It is a moment to collectively recognize and honor the contributions and achievements of nearly half of the community we live in, which in fact have an undeniable impact on our society as a whole and on our individual lives as well. This day stands as a call to action, to strive for equality in all social dimensions that exist, empowering the marginalized and fostering spaces for inclusive development where every individual can thrive, where every individual can be an agent of social transformation the society desires. International Women's Day is a reminder for us to publicly honor and validate the struggles and achievements of women and all who have faced systemic barriers. It is not just their resilience and strength this day reminds us of. It is an inspiration to renew our collective commitment in achieving equality that aids in dismantling the obstacles which hinder the society to operate to its collective potential. As we gather here for this common goal with our shared vision for the future, it is a great privilege to see such a diverse group of scientists representing diverse generations, disciplines, and sectors in operation. This gathering is a testament that we are progressing towards the goal we see, a more inclusive scientific community. As Sri Lanka embarks on a new path, aiming inclusive and sustainable development, the government envisions the transformation of the country into an innovation-driven economy where science, technology, and innovation serve as the cornerstone of national development. This vision is only achievable through linking scientific inquiry with technological advancement in the country, with not just technological but also social development in the country, where policy making and decision making takes place based on evidence, data, and well thought out ideas rather than random interventions by individuals. This vision is only achievable through linking scientific inquiry with technological advancement in the country. Aiming to create an enabling environment for scientific excellence that transcends into socio-economic development, the government understands the vital role of inclusion. Inclusion in terms of outcomes of the process that serves all segments of the society, but also in terms of ability to participate effectively in the process as well. Such a transformation requires gender-sensitive policies to well integrate efforts of women scientists, innovators, and entrepreneurs, as well as teachers and academics. Global evidence confirms that gender diversity in STEAM fields leads to better scientific outcomes. Sorry, I'm saying STEAM and not just STEM because I think we need to move beyond this sort of STEM box. And as an anthropologist, I cannot help but keep plugging this. Field leads to better scientific outcomes, inclusive innovations, and sustainable development. Varied perspectives brought about by diversity enhances the ability to produce creative solutions with broader applicability. This provides firm grounds to promote gender diversity in STEAM, targeting the full potential of the scientific community in solving increasingly complex global and local challenges. It is not possible to hinder the progression of half the talent pool of a country and then anticipate the full potential required. That is where meaningful engagement of women scientists becomes a matter of progression for a whole nation. However, achieving this vision requires a candid acknowledgement of the structural barriers that continue to hinder women's full participation in the workforce, particularly at decision-making levels. Deeply ingrained social norms, unequal care responsibilities, and systemic biases perpetuate women's marginalization in the scientific community. If we are to create a truly inclusive environment, these barriers must be carefully dismantled. The government remains committed in addressing these deep-rooted inequalities faced by women across socio-economic, cultural, and political systems, as we have detailed in the government's policy framework. The contribution of women, both visible and invisible, in every sphere have long been overshadowed, even within their own households, workplaces, and communities. This marginalization is more pronounced in leadership spaces. Again, I'm reminded of a story. I think I have shared it with some of you here. When we were talking about a potential dean for our faculty, and we approached one of our female academics to contest for the post, her response was, if you find me a wife, then maybe I can consider it. Right? Which is, I think, she was speaking tongue-in-cheek. But how often have many of us declined to take on positions or added responsibilities because we just know we cannot cope with the added workload that it brings into our lives. And we've often consciously not taken on those responsibilities because, unlike our fortunate male colleagues, we do not have partners who can share that burden or take that burden from us. The burden on women has grown disproportionately with ad hoc policies over the past, which had targeted development merely on economic terms. Economic contribution from women in various forms devalued in the society without due recognition structurally and ideologically. As we have duly acknowledged, this exclusion is furthered by the substandard delivery of public services, disproportionately affecting vulnerable communities, especially women within these communities. This ignorance cannot be further sustained without deepening into broader societal crises. Therefore, we acknowledge the existence of differences in vulnerabilities faced by women across different social identities, and we believe that a meaningful change is only possible through an intersectional approach. The vision of the government for women's empowerment is rooted in this intersectional approach, recognizing that the compounding effects of gender, ethnicity, class, and geographic location create unique vulnerabilities for different groups of women. This interconnectedness requires our action across all policy spaces, including economic justice and labor rights to education and science. Because of this interconnectedness, working towards the betterment of lives of women essentially is to create a just, free, and inclusive society for all to live in. One of the most pressing challenges faced by women scientists is the double burden of unpaid care work, which significantly impacts their career advancement. Women scientists juggle multiple responsibilities, balancing family obligations with professional aspirations, often at great personal cost. Apart from the cost at a personal level, this burden of dual workload perpetuates gender inequality within the scientific community. It is this very understanding about the practical realities that makes it possible to create supportive environments through childcare services, flexible work arrangements, and gender-sensitive research funding policies that will help women to thrive in their personal lives as well as their professional lives. Invisibility or not receiving the due recognition for their contribution is another structural barrier that exists in the scientific community. Women scientists often lead practical initiatives in silence, in spaces much closer to the community. They are driving a sustainable change while understanding the social dynamics of complex situations in these areas. These attempts cover a diverse range, from innovations at the community level to pioneering work in conservation to providing solutions through social science perspectives. Yet these attempts are frequently overlooked and overshadowed by systemic biases within the scientific community, undermining their dedication and resilience. It requires deliberate efforts to amplify women's voices, celebrate their achievements, and integrate their perspectives into mainstream scientific discourse to make their attempts visible. And this is one such initiative, and I applaud you for initiating this. Moreover, true inclusivity demands that we acknowledge the layers of marginalization that exist within the community of women scientists. Compound and unique challenges faced by women from rural, less advantaged, and minority communities who aspire to be part of the scientific ecosystem should be duly acknowledged to bring about true inclusivity in this sector. The silenced voices of these women should be amplified to make sure that any woman, irrespective of her background, will have the capacity or the opportunity to benefit from and contribute towards science that we all benefit from. The obstacles they face must be addressed through targeted capacity building programs and affirmative action where necessary. Apart from these lines of discrimination, we must not forget the women who are resuming their careers after breaks and persons with disabilities, as they also contribute to the collective talent pool in science and in the scientific community. Solutions such as return to work pathways which are not in discussion right now, may provide solutions to a much needed career reintegration of women scientists. We should look beyond the established modes of functioning of our public service delivery, where we as a society can reduce the burden on women. The government believes that economic justice is the cornerstone of gender equality, a principle that should be ingrained into every policy that affects the funding and professional advancement. Ensuring equitable access to economic resources and opportunities within this sector will ensure the contribution of women is sustained over time. At a policy level, we are committed to gradually increasing women's representation until it reaches at least equal representation in all levels of political institutions. Similarly, it is high time to reconsider the composition of all the governing councils and advisory bodies that shape the progression of science in the country. This should reach far beyond the token gesture of appointing the token woman, and should be considered as a transformative measure to harness the unique perspectives that women bring to leadership spaces. Ensuring equal representation requires unbiased reflections on existing evaluation criteria that we use today. Do these criteria recognize the unique challenges faced by women and evaluate their contributions? What can we do better to accommodate career trajectories which are not recognized traditionally? It is only through repeated consideration of these questions at an institutional level that we will make much desired inclusivity a reality. Availability of ample and suitable opportunities for capacity building is another aspect to focus on when it's time to achieve gender parity. It is of question whether we understand the specific requirements that exist among women scientists for targeted training, in receiving mentorships, and in networking on their pathway to leadership roles. We know that often decision-making takes place informally. It's before you come to the faculty board or the council or the board meeting that decisions are often made, maybe at the faculty club. I don't know what the equivalent is in the scientific community, but it is in those spaces after work that decisions are often made and that the best networking happens. And women are often, for practical reasons, excluded from these spaces. So when they come to the table, consensus has already been built on many of the decisions that have to be made. We must also rethink how the spaces for collaboration and network are designed. Spaces for collaboration and networking should be redefined in a gender-sensitive manner. Historically, women have been excluded from the networks that shape scientific careers. In a sector with such established stereotypes, the biases towards a particular gender or a dominant narrative are quite nuanced until we have a deliberate look at these. Because we are scientists, we tend to think that we are above all of these prejudices and biases, and that our training will help us to overcome most of these things naturally. I think we really need to reflect hard on whether that's necessarily true. Today, as we honor the unparalleled courage, dedication, and achievements of women in science, we must recognize the empowering women scientists is not only about achieving gender parity. It is about creating a more equitable, innovative, and sustainable future for all. These are the efforts that propels the progression of our society and draw inspirations for the generations to come. And each one of you here is an inspiration for future generations. By empowering women scientists, we make our nation's development inclusive and sustainable. In supporting and amplifying the voices of women in science, we empower the entire nation to reach its full potential, the potential that is required to address the very, very complex challenges of our time. All the distinguished fellows gathered here today are change agents, including the gentleman. I particularly invite you to join us in this cause. are the change agents to provide directions for more equitable science, transcending beyond mere scientific advancement. It is through your collective efforts that we can lead to a more equitable, innovative, and meaningful future for all. And at the risk of being reductionist and essentialist, and I'm terrified because I can see my social scientist friends right here, nevertheless, I want to say that as women, we work best in collectives. We understand the strength of collectively supporting each other. And I think there's often a myth in society that women are terrible at that all we do is, try to tear each other down. We know it's not true. We know we wouldn't get here if not for other women. We know we wouldn't be the success we are if we didn't have women in our communities, in our families supporting us. So I think we need to bring that spirit and that collective strength that we have into our scientific community as well. And we can include all the men in it as well and show you how strong a collective force can be, how strong such a force can be for change. Representatives from different scientific institutions and professional bodies in science gathered here today have a greater duty than ever to be the advocates for gender equality within your institutions, to reflect on the systemic biases embedded in the systems followed throughout. And this is not just based on gender. Class, caste, language, all of these are equally debilitating factors. Challenge the status quo and collectively work towards dismantling the barriers that prevent women and others who have long been excluded from these spaces from participating fully in a scientific career. The government stands with you in this mission. We strive to establish robust monitoring mechanisms built on accountability and transparency. We are committed to establishing a supportive societal framework where all of you will thrive, lead, and transform the future of our country. Our commitments are towards effective, sustained, and transformative societal change where we can meaningfully achieve gender parity and social parity and create a more civilized, just society. By empowering women scientists, we empower the entire nation. The collective talent, creativity, and leadership that propel Sri Lanka towards a thriving nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam, for your inspiring words. We are confident that you will take the lead in ensuring equity, diversity, and inclusion in our country. Ladies and gentlemen,
For centuries, science has shaped
you
the
may witness
world.
this video.
But whose voices have truly shaped science? Despite making up 1/3 of the global research workforce, women are still underrepresented in spaces where decisions are made. Their contributions often remain overlooked and their leadership is undervalued. In the world of science, talent is not the barrier. Representation is. While the women's elected membership in senior science academies has increased from 13% in 2015 to 16% in 2020, this still falls far behind their participation in research. The average share of women serving on governing bodies was 29% in academies and 37% in international disciplinary organizations. The underrepresentation of female members of academies is more pronounced in the fields of engineering sciences and mathematical sciences. As the world faces unprecedented challenges, from pandemics to climate change, science must do more than just advancing knowledge. Science must represent all of humanity. That's why we must ask, who is shaping the future of science? But women are not waiting for things to be changed. They are the change. They are challenging the outdated norms and creating fairer opportunities for all. Every step forward is hard-earned, and every victory is paving the way for a more inclusive and innovative future for science. But now is the time to act faster. Challenge all forms of discrimination, violence, and exclusion. Dismantle systemic barriers and uplift the voices that have long been sidelined. Create pathways for women in science to lead, to innovate, and to transform the world in a sustainable manner. The future of science belongs to everyone, and it starts with ensuring her place in science.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to invite Professor Saman Senavira, Chairman of the National Science Foundation, to share his views. Please take the stage, sir.
Good afternoon, Honorable Minister and the Secretary to the Ministry of Science and Technology, and all my colleagues, academic colleagues, and representatives from all our other institutes in the country. And it is a great honor to speak to this Women Science Forum, and this is I think, the second time I saw this big collection of women in my life, like in one place. And I remember the first one I was thinking, when I was young, I used to go to my sister's school. It was a girls' school, that's where I happened to see. So it's a pleasure, and it's very beautiful to see that one. Yeah. And again today, gather here to celebrate the International Women's Day and recognize the achievement of women in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This event is organized by National Science Foundation in collaboration with the Sri Lankan Association of Advancement of Science, the SLAS. Our goal is to support women in STEM and the STEM and gender disparities in research, innovation, and leaderships. The women who always play a critical role in science, yet they often face many challenges in education, in career progressions. This forum aims to address these issues and also create new opportunities for women in science in Sri Lanka. The science and technology drives the national progress, which we have seen repeatedly, and all the countries, if we see developed countries, they have put a greater effort in science and technology. That's how those countries have progress, and especially around those things, the inclusion of science and the leadership development, together with the science, they have made a massive progress in the development wise. And again, like the science, especially in the medical science, environmental science, engineering, and the technology space, is not good enough. I think the women representation is luckily in Sri Lanka, if we see, it's a good news. We have around 48% of the women in science, and compared to other part of the world, if you take as a global context, it's nearly 43% women in science. This is a good news. We have women still play a role. But when it comes to the engineering disciplines, we have a little bit issue, which is nearly 32% the women are in the engineering and that mathematical disciplines. This is, I think, the women can take a leadership, and this is something will be very important to look at in the future to address and get the women into this space of the science. And my observation is that in the universities, we see a lot of the females in the graduate students nearly, we see close to 70, over 70% of the students are women. But when come to the academia and other research related the positions, this number had decreased. We don't see the same thing, and I think that indicate that there is a factor that control the women into science. So those are I think the very important that even the Prime Minister highlighted, and I think the most of the story I think Prime Minister gone through. Like I was asked to give a 3-minute speech, and so what I see is this is the story. We have an issue that need to be addressed, and this data generated by us and by NSF, collected all the national data. We have a data pool, and from this data we have into this conclusion. So what I want to say is that it's a high time there is an issue, and the women and the leadership is, I think, very important. What I see wherever I work in my career, I have worked. In fact, my PhD supervisor was the woman, and she was, very young. She started her career very quickly. She went to the vice chancellor level as well. Like that. I think the women leaders are I see is a bit of moderation. In many places I met women leaders. So I think the women leaders need to many more leadership, especially in academia, research and all. I think it's high time to come into these places and play a major role. I think so we all want to make a accelerated development of this country. We all need to change the science, and we know that definitely play a key role. I think there is a big vacuum for women to play. So I wouldn't take any more longer. I wish you all the best. I think this the conference will make a great opportunity to relook at the women, the involvement in science and the leadership roles, and what kind of a contribution we can make into the society, country, the family as whole to the world. Thank you very much. I will stop from here.
Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have a video from our collaborators, the Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science.
The Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science, being the premier scientific body in Sri Lanka, provides constructive and versatile grounds for remarkable achievements. Since its inception in 1944, SLAS has been a platform for scientific advancement, fostering research, collaboration and innovation in Sri Lanka. It has played a pivotal role in bridging diverse scientific disciplines, encouraging interdisciplinary dialogue and shaping national policies. Through its initiatives, SLAS has supported women scientists, empowering them to break barriers and lead transformative research. Pioneering medical breakthroughs to advancing maternal and child health care, women have played a crucial role in shaping the nation's medical landscape. Women veterinarians contribute significantly to animal health care, disease control, and the livestock industry. Their dedication continues to inspire the next generation of medical and veterinary professionals. Women scientists have contributed substantially for sustainable agriculture, introducing climate-resilient crops and innovative farming techniques. From genetic research to soil conservation, their expertise ensures a thriving agricultural sector. These women are the backbone of sustainable food production and environmental stewardship. Breaking barriers in a traditionally male-dominated field, women engineers have contributed to infrastructure development, renewable energy, and disaster-resilient housing. Their work in architectural design and surveying integrates sustainability with cultural heritage, urban planning, land mapping, and shaping iconic landmarks across the country. Women researchers in life and earth sciences have made remarkable strides in biodiversity conservation, marine ecology, and climate adaptation. Their studies on endemic species, ecosystems, and environmental sustainability have led to significant policy changes and conservation efforts. Women physicists have expanded our understanding of the universe from quantum mechanics to space research. Their contributions to material science, renewable energy, and technological advancements have propelled national development. Female chemists have been instrumental in developing pharmaceuticals, sustainable materials, and industrial innovations. Their research in food chemistry, medicinal chemistry, and environmental safety have improved public health and industry standards. Women in computing and artificial intelligence are revolutionizing the digital landscape through innovations in cybersecurity, data science, and automation. By fostering inclusive tech education and research, they empower future generations. These trailblazers ensure that Sri Lanka remains at the forefront of the digital revolution. Women social scientists have profoundly influenced education, public policy, and human rights advocacy. Their research in gender studies, economics, and psychology have shaped national reforms and social progress. Their work continues to bridge the gap between science and society, fostering a more equitable future.
Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science.
It is with that spirit SLAS contributes to the Women's Scientists Forum in collaboration with the National Science Foundation. Together we move forward, promoting greater participation of women and girls in STEM fields, reduce gender disparities, and empower human resources for the development of the STI ecosystem.
The theme of SLAS is to empower the underprivileged through the popularization of science and technology. We are planning to do several activities through our sections. We have 8 sections, section A to section F, covering all the disciplines from medicine, engineering, general sciences, computer sciences, and social sciences. And also we have several committees like Science Education Committee, Committee for Popularization of Science, and the Environment Committee. Further, we are closely collaborating with the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka. With them, we have started several programs to achieve our aim. I hope this initiative with the National Science Foundation will work in this year. Thank you.
Next, we have lined up a presentation on the activities of scientific associations focusing on women in STEM or STEAM. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we have a very interesting and engaging activity for you. Take out your mobile phones and get ready. And to take you through this activity, I would like to invite Mrs. Chamika Dharmasena, Scientific Officer of NSF, and Mrs. Christine Dasanayaka, Senior Scientific Officer of NSF.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Inoka, for the introduction. So now it's time to hear your voice, your opinion about gender equality in S&T. And for this, we have provided you with a small coupon like this, I think. You can go to the survey by scanning the QR code. If you haven't still scanned, you can scan the QR code here, or you can go to the menti.com and insert the code.
If you do require any assistance, our scientific officers are on the aisle. They will help you get through.
So we have designed some questions to take you through the issues identified and the solution identified. How do you think about those issues and solutions? These questions are designed in a way that we can convey a message to the decision makers who are here today. And these questions cover about career retention, women in leadership, representation, and what you think about the policy changes needed. So, guess that you are ready with your... Okay. And we should acknowledge that the technical support for this session was provided by the Urban Research Center, UDA, and the officials are here with us. Thank you so much for providing us with the technical facility for this session. So to make this session interactive, we are reloading the question so you can answer. Again, if you have already tried it, you can answer it again. Okay, as the first question, okay, we already have some answers for the question. So what do you think? What do you think are the biggest barriers for career retention or the career progression of women scientists, your colleagues? And this session is open for all women and men as well, because I think our colleagues are very supportive force in this endeavor. So we are getting the responses. Now you can see, okay, the family responsibilities and care work is the main obstacle. Okay. Okay. Still, okay. Many of you think that the family responsibilities and care work is the main barrier. Yeah. Okay. That's the second most one. Okay. I think we have a clear yeah, kind of a clear winner. Yes, it's family responsibilities and care work. It's the main barrier. It could be structural. It could be embedded in the culture. So it's the main barrier, as identified by most of you, is the first one. So shall we proceed to the next one? Okay. What do you think about women in leadership?
All right, so do we have a balanced gender representation in governing bodies in S&T sector at present? So it's quite interesting how the charts are moving. Yes, absolutely. Okay, not what we expected. Yeah. All right. It's going hand in hand. There's room for improvement and not adequate. Okay. I hope all of you are online and you don't have any problems logging in. Okay. Yeah, so as you can see, we have put the percentage here, so we do not know whether all of you are in. Anybody has any questions, please raise your hands and we will help you out. Are we moving too fast or? All right, so not adequate and there's room for improvement going hand in hand, almost equal numbers. Okay, shall we move on to the next one? Yes?
Okay, so most of you think that the women in leadership positions are not adequate. So what are the reasons? This question is designed to seek the reasons for the same. What do you think? Okay. Career breaks for childcare and family responsibilities. It aligns with the career progression question as well. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's a clear one. So, currently we have 160, 163, and the numbers are increasing, the participants' numbers. So, yeah. Okay, I think now the responses are balanced off. So, there again, just as the career retention and career progression, the women in leadership face the same problem. Career breaks for childcare and family responsibility. So what can we do about this?
So continuing with the previous question, what are the most effective support systems that you can think of, or the top two that women scientists could thrive in their career? Yeah, flexible working hours and remote working options, work options, childcare facilities in close proximity, return to work pathways from our women scientists after career breaks. So maybe we should think about working from home options and having childcare systems at least, to share within the facilities that are in close proximity. If we can have such things. Yeah, it looks like it's stable now. So the continuing with the previous question, the childcare and family well-being was an issue, and if we can find solutions for these problems, obviously women scientists would thrive. We'll move on to the next question.
Okay. When it's come to innovation, that women can contribute in some areas better. And if you think about, we are introducing innovation grants especially for women, what would be the best sector we should target on? What do you think? Okay, health and well-being. Responses are receiving. Yes, we need some more responses there. Okay. Yes. Okay, there again we have a clear preference for health and well-being based innovative businesses. So most of you think that women are good in innovating in health and well-being. So as we proceed to the next question.
So a clear-cut question. What should be the minimum target for women's representation in national scientific decision-making bodies by 2030? So we have 30%, 40%, 50%, which is equal representation, and no quotas required. I hope the gentleman won't be biased and enthusiastically engaged in the activity. Very interesting. Okay, no quotas required is also having high number. I wish the Honorable Prime Minister was here to see this. Okay. You can assume that the 50% is, yeah, preferred. All right, so we'll move on to the next question.
So this question is for your thoughts. If you can explain one change you would like to see at the policy level, what would be that change? Short answer. Okay. Yes. Very inclusive, I would say. It's really great to have such a diverse crowd. Okay. Equity, flexibility, leadership, opportunity, career support. Okay. Okay. Transparency, prejudice. Okay. This is last question. We leave the stage with this word cloud for the decision makers to think about the ideas of the audience, where you can change, what you can change, how you can change. So, and thank you very much for your support in this engagement session. I'll leave the audience now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chamika, for designing this activity, and both Chamika and Christine for conducting this session. And all of you participants for having taken part in this exercise. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to invite our guest of honor, Dr. Krishantha Abesena, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, to address the audience.
Honorable Prime Minister, Secretary of the Ministry of Science and Technology, Chairman and Director General of the Science and National Science Foundation, distinguished guests, esteemed scientists, representatives from science and technology institutions and associations. As we mark International Women's Day 2025, today's gathering serves as an opportunity to celebrate the immense contributions women have made in advancing science and technology in Sri Lanka. I am truly grateful for the invitation to join this important event, which comes at a timely moment as our country embarks on a new era of economic development driven by research and innovation. Our vision is to transform Sri Lanka's economy into one that is innovation-driven, where science, technology, and innovation plays a pivotal role in fostering economic prosperity, social well-being, and environmental sustainability. Achieving this vision, however, cannot be realized without the well-integrated participation of women scientists across all priority sectors. As we all know, gender diversity in research and development is key to enhancing innovation and fostering more sustainable, equitable solutions. Ensuring this diversity guarantees that a wide range of perspectives are integrated into scientific solutions approached through interdisciplinary lenses and centered on the needs of our communities. This approach ensures that the benefits of scientific progress are equitably shared across all segments of our society. However, to make gender diversity a reality, we must address several challenges. We must acknowledge the persistent underrepresentation of women in leadership roles within science. This double burden of unpaid care work, which hinders the career progression of women scientists, must be addressed, allowing them to fully realize their potential. Structural inequalities such as gender biases in selection panels and limited access to resources must also be identified and rectified. Furthermore, we must work towards recognizing the often invisible contributions made by women in the science and technology sectors. As we remain committed to integrating the principles of equity, diversity, and inclusion into our national science and technology landscape, it is crucial that we find ways to increase the representation of women in scientific governing councils and decision-making bodies. Gender sensitivity must be a key consideration in evaluation criteria for career opportunities and research funding. Additionally, we must ensure that measures are in place to retain women scientists and provide avenues for reintegration following career gaps. Scientifically collected and analyzed data on women's participation and their career trajectories in science is essential for making informed decisions. Research that explores gendered perspectives in science and technology, particularly from a social science viewpoint, must be incorporated into our existing policies. Progress towards a more inclusive science and technology sector should be monitored through appropriate indicators with adjustment made based on the outcomes. Promoting inclusive learning environments in STEM education is equally important. These environments should inspire learners that from early age by highlighting the significance of diverse participation in STEM fields. Pedagogies employed in these spaces should also be gender responsive. In such environments, success stories of inclusion can serve as much needed source of inspiration for future generations. Collaboration between institutions is key to making science and technology more inclusive. Resources dedicated to inclusion must be effectively shared across institutions to ensure that these efforts are sustainable. Through these collaborations, we can deliver comprehensive, gender-sensitive support packages to individuals to every stage of their careers. The diversification of career pathways in STEM is another critical element for fostering gender inclusion. By introducing alternative entry points through interdisciplinary roles, flexible work models, and non-linear career trajectories, we can create more inclusive pathways for both women and men in STEM fields. Rethinking traditional qualification requirements will also enable more individuals to access and thrive in STEM careers. Finally, I envision the promotion of family-friendly workplace policies in STEM that benefit both men and women. These policies should extend beyond targeted support for women and foster a more inclusive work environment. By promoting work-life balance, shared caregiving responsibilities, and creating flexible working hours, parental leave, and childcare support, we can break gender stereotypes and create equitable opportunities for career advancement for all. As we move forward in our journey towards an innovation-driven economy, it is essential that we continue to prioritize and champion the inclusion of women in science and technology. Together, through collaborative efforts, policy reforms, and shared commitment to equity and diversity, we can create an environment where all individuals, regardless of gender, are empowered to reach their full potential. Let us work together to ensure that the next generation of scientists, innovators, and leaders are inspired by a vision of equality, opportunity, and progress. As we gather here today, I thank you all for your dedication and unwavering support in making this vision a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. To conclude our event, I invite Dr. Shanta Siri, Additional Director of NSF, to deliver the concluding remarks.
Good afternoon. Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, and Secretary to the Ministry of Science and Technology, and Director General of the National Science Foundation, Chairman of the National Science Foundation, and members of the Board of Management, and General President's Class, and distinguished invitees. It's a great pleasure for me to deliver the concluding remarks at this special event. As you know, National Science Foundation organized this Women Scientists Forum under the WEST program. The objectives of the WEST program focus on empowering women in STEM field by providing them with mentorship, networking opportunities, unleashing their potential leadership, enabling pursuance of research and entrepreneurial ventures, thereby narrowed down any gender gaps in STEM sectors and enhanced contribution to the science, technology, and innovation ecosystem, thereby ultimately the socio-economic development. Key to transforming these objectives into action programs are partnership building, networking, and connecting the dots. In this context, today's program played a significant role in connecting the inspiring minds of women scientists and engineers in this room. You could have witnessed that with the screen you responded to the interactive session. Moving forward, let us strengthen existing partnerships and inculcate new ones so that almost organizational level, individual level, of course national level, thereby fostering the synergy and co-creation until fruition of aforementioned objectives and goals. In closing, on behalf of the National Science Foundation, Director General, Chairman, and the Board of Management, I extend my sincere gratitude to Dr. Harini Amarasuriya, Honorable Prime Minister, for her presence here today, even at a busy time schedule and pressing commitments. I would like to extend a sincere thanks to Dr. Krishanta Abesena, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology. Dear sir, even at your busy time schedule, your presence here today throughout the program, of course, was a great encouragement. Mr. Mohammad Nawawi, Secretary to the Ministry, sir, and the other senior officials from the Ministry, of course, a big thank extended to you, because you extended us an enabling cooperation throughout the process, which made today the event a success. My sincere appreciation goes to Professor Udeni Naugamo, General President's class. Sir, thank you very much for joining hands with the NSF as the collaborating partner of this event. I extend my sincere thanks to the NSF Director General, Dr. Sepalika Sudasinghe, Chairman, Professor Senvira, for your valuable guidance. I extend my sincere gratitude to the members of the Board of Management. Thank you very much for your presence here today and your guidance and wisdom throughout. This kind of an event cannot happen overnight, where substantial planning, organizing and commitment is required. There were 3 leading team members from the NSF family, Ms. Telina, Ms. Chamika and Nadisha. A big thank for you. And also, of course, NSF entire team, numerous ways supported in organizing and making this event a success. Your collective commitment, dedication and devotion brought the event, today's event, glamorous and success. Distinguished invitees and participants, the success of this forum would not have been possible without your participation. Our profound appreciation for your active participation. Our appreciation also goes to the Dean and the staff of the Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo. Your kind facilitation, this venue enabled holding this event seamlessly. Thank you very much. And also, my sincere thanks extended to the audiovisual technical support team on site. Thank you very much for your support. And also, thanks for the media for your covering to the event and also your support. We hope message will be disseminated at large, even at the community level. So, last not least, I will get the last wording from the Prime Minister, the creativity. Creativity. I quote one saying from the Steve Jobs, the creativity or the innovation, just connecting the things. So in this room, we have connected powerful minds and creative thoughts from powerful women in the engineering, science or the STEM field. So, hope the march will continue. Ultimately, the innovation can prosper so that national vision, enhancing the contribution, more contribution to the GDP or the socio-economic development from women in the field of STEM will be achieved as a national endeavor. Finally, this message will take at large, wider disseminated and wider participation. We expect this will propel ultimately fruition of the ultimate objective, thereby achieving the national vision. Thank you very much.
As we come to the end of this event, we hope that today's discussions have inspired and empowered you to continue striving for excellence in your scientific endeavors. Let us continue to work together to promote equity, diversity, and inclusion in STEM fields. Thank you once again for joining us today. You're all invited for refreshments outside in the lobby. And I will leave you with a quote from Rosalind Franklin, another female scientist, a chemist, whose work was critical to understand DNA. I quote, "Science and everyday life cannot and should not be separated," unquote. Have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.